how would you like to make your first million? And today we have Vishwa with us, which is the CEO and founder of MayaMaya.ai. So, Vishwa, tell us, in your opinion, what are the 5 steps that you recommend entrepreneurs in order to make the first million? You exit your business before, and so you are a serial entrepreneur, more than one business. So tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend entrepreneurs in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Excellent. Thank you, Harry, for having me first today. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and share what I know and to learn from you what else you might actually recommend based on what is right for me. Thanks again. So it's a very interesting question you asked about what is it that it's going to take for you to earn the first 1 million. It's the hardest million, right? It's the most difficult work. What I have seen succeed, as far as I am concerned, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that this is what's worked for everybody. What has seen work for me is having a passion towards what we want to do, right? If we are not really passionate about what we really want to do, and if we are trying to follow somebody else's footsteps on what has worked for them because that made them a million or two, or multi-million, does not mean we will succeed if our passion and our heart is not where it needs to be. That's number one criteria. Number two is the purpose. What is it that you want to solve, and why is it that you want to solve this, and what's the purpose behind why you have started this kind of a business? If you do not have a purpose clearly defined, it could be something as small as I want to be able to provide something for my family with etc., etc. Or it could be like, I want to change the world, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Idea behind it is have a purpose behind why you're building a business, right? Number three is, okay, what do I want to get paid for doing something I really like and I'm passionate about? And what is the reward system that I want to be able to be part of? Is it having more time, or is it having more money, or is it having what, right? So that's the third piece of the puzzle. And the fourth and the important piece of the puzzle is this the kind of work I want to do? Right? A lot of people I have seen as entrepreneurs who are awesome technologists or awesome contributors who end up wanting to be an entrepreneur just because that has made money for somebody else. Sometimes that might not be the right choice. If you have these four aspects of it clearly defined, it's pretty easy for you to define a pathway on how exactly to run the course. That's kind of what has worked for me. And that's why I was able to build a healthcare business, because I had a family situation where health was a key reason. And I was passionate about wanting to solve this. And my idea was to reach out to as many hospitals and doctors as possible, right? And then similarly, I want to be able to do the same thing when I realized that my young kids or adults were growing up, and I was wondering what is it they're going to do for a job in the future. And then that's when I actually birthed MayaMaya. It was because of a passion and a job which I can do,
Wow,
and
very
to
inspiring.
define what I want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, this is exactly what I was heading, because you already exit your business. You should be in the beach or traveling the world, and yet you know how what it's gonna take to make it, to build a multi-billion dollar business. Uh, so why you are a favorite in this in this business, right? Again, and you say for your children, you worry about your children. Tell us a little bit more about that. What's the real story? What is your why for this second journey that you started taking up with MayaMaya?
Brilliant question, right? So nobody has asked me, right? You can take the winnings and go home and sit. I think I was kind of alluding to that earlier. what's the purpose I really wanted to achieve, right? Did I achieve that purpose in the previous business? That answer is no. I started with the
How come
purpose.
no? You exit. You know how many entrepreneurs never manage to exit the business?
See,
Is
that's
as
the
an
question.
entrepreneur, it's a brilliant result, in my opinion. You
See,
manage to exit.
yeah, but exit, like I said, right? The reward system of money is what it actually fulfilled. That exit did not fulfill the purpose behind why I started it, right? So the idea behind why did I start this journey is because the purpose was still unfulfilled, whereas my passion was still
Oh
there.
wow, that's a very powerful answer.
Yeah.
Very inspiring.
So my
Wow.
purpose was unfulfilled, but the profits were fulfilled. But that doesn't mean
The money part will fulfill, but there is something there yet. Ah,
correct.
wow.
So at that point in time, what do you do with the money to be able to fulfill that purpose or not is the choice that you're making. So that's what I had to decide on. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take the winnings and put that on the next one so that I at least have a fulfilling life.
Okay, Vishwa, out of these 500 millionaires that we interview in this podcast, one out of five are tech millionaires, and the other one out of five are property investors. Is it that easy to become a millionaire in tech, or can you tell us what is the good, the bad, and the ugly of being in the tech business? You actually are an entrepreneur. You're someone that is qualified to be in business because you already run a business and you exit. So you are someone that can give a more wide opinion. Why do you think the reason? Yeah, that one out of five multimillionaires that come to this podcast are in the clearly the statistics uh, illustrates that tech is a good vehicle to be wealthy because the same like property because that's the major proportion of people are showing up to this podcast, right? But is it that easy, or what do you think that this is happening?
It, I would not say, if you take the three V's, right? If you take the first V is velocity, the speed at which you can move in tech is certainly higher than the speed at which you can move in anything else, right? And the volume of people that you can reach, the second V, right? That you can reach in tech is actually a lot more than the volume that you could do in a business on the corner, right? So that's the second. Third is the variety of different people that you can actually go in and try this one out through technology is a lot higher than the variety that you might have to go in and hit with a different kind of a business. So if you look at the three things, if you ask me, why is it that there are more technologists? Is because it is the fastest way to reach a large number of people for you to be able to make a difference and quickly to see if you can ferret it out or not, right? That's the good news, right? Bad
Wow,
news is
the good exactly. Good news is that's very scalable, right?
correct. It's very scalable for you to make. If you know how to make the first $100,000, you will know how to make the first 500
Okay, we have a
$100,000.
good news. So what is the bad news? Tell us.
The bad news is too many people are there in this area. So there is a lot of noise that you need to get
This I
rid of,
agree.
right? So there is a lot of
And
posts.
nobody tell about the failures. So everybody come to the podcast here to tell the success story. No,
Correct.
but the large amount of failure, I think that tech have a really fastest number of failure because it's very easy to copy or somebody else very quickly can iterate a better solution than you, right?
Correct, correct. So if you look at the bad news, it's the noise as we call in our business, right? There's too many people who will do 20% of what you do, and they create a lot of dust and noise that you are chasing every little deal, and the cost of actually spending this, unless you are focused on where exactly you need to go, you will end up spending a lot of money, right? I wish I could tell you that I have not spent that kind of money or the wrong kind of investments. It's not true. All of us have done that, and we will still keep doing
Absolutely.
that. And
To get
that is
product market fit in tech is one of the most challenging things that I've seen in my life in business. This is something. So tell us why you different. I know something that you're different better than anybody because I had the pleasure to meet you personally. And I know that your product, there is something that guarantee you can tell that you're different. Why? Because you own a patent. Is that correct?
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
well, a patent would say uh, at least the way that you're doing things is different than somebody else. It's already
Absolutely.
certified for a U.S. organization. So
Absolutely.
somehow the way you're doing your thing is totally different of everybody else because you got a granted patent that it was not easy and took a lot of time. So why? Tell us more. Why you different? Why out of all this noise out there, your product MayaMaya is going to stand out? Yeah, and 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 why?
Excellent question. So you're absolutely spot on, right? So we applied for a patent in 2021, long before ChatGPT was even a thing, right? So our
Wow,
so yeah, we
amazing.
applied for the patent in 2021 based on what we really wanted to solve. So these days, it's very hard for you to get an AI patent because there is just way too much going on. They are not
Applications.
really sure from one to the other, right? One of the key reasons why we are different is we are not in the business of creating an AI tool. We are in the business of creating applied AI, which means how am I going to use AI and for the betterment of people? Everybody thinks so. One of the key things that people talk about is AI is going to take away jobs and all that good stuff, right? So, but the reality is, and they all talk about that being an efficiency builder and how it's going to reduce the cost for various organizations, etc. One of the key things that we have always, as human beings, right, have always done is evolve a lot faster, better, quicker than anybody else, right? And we have been able to adapt really well. But this is the first time in human history where a specific technology is not affecting one role. It is affecting millions of roles across different industries at the same time, right? So, is it harder this time? That answer is a yes. Is it impossible to conquer? That answer is a no. And I firmly believe we will figure out a way to get through this as long as we all work together. One of the pieces that I am really focused on, why we are different, right? Why do I see two things that I've learned is have the humility to know you don't have the answers to everything, right? I don't have the answers to everything. One of the key things that I have built is a platform around people so that I can create many entrepreneurs on top of what we have built using the patented framework so that they can use it for their own business, for their own use case, for each of their industries and sub industries, for how they need to use the people framework. What we do is to actually enable these entrepreneurs to white label our patented framework so that they can build on top of it. That is what is very different about how we are approaching it. So I'm not measuring by the number of customers I reach. I am measuring our success by the number of entrepreneurs we create over the next 2 years.
Wow. And then, and it's my understanding that you guys develop your own code because a lot of AI solutions out there, right? They are using ChatGPT or APIs or another big engine, okay, in order to build the software on the platform. But you guys develop your own your own AI software so entrepreneurs can build and it's independent from ChatGPT, which I think that this creates bring a lot of value to the
Correct.
business, right? So,
Correct.
in terms of scalability, right? As long as you grow, you're gonna need more computing power. It's gonna be a lot of data um, involved. Uh, and then it's my understanding that you guys were targeting one of the market you were targeting the Indian market, which is huge. And if you just get just a percentage of this, uh, and also a little percent of the US, these two markets a lot, it will demand from you guys a lot of compute power and, 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 and data processing. So in terms of scalability, how you see, how you guys plan to scale this efficiency?
Great question. First part of what I wanted to address is why. Why the markets that we are targeting, right? Because services business is all about human capital. That is just a given, right? The manufacturing business is not so much human capital driven, right? Yes, it has a component of it, but that's not what drives it. It's the processes, it's the efficiency, it is all of the effectiveness of all of those things. But the industry which actually absolutely depends on it is the services industry. If you look at the world, what are the kind of services which actually gets paid the most? Healthcare, technology, right? And all of these are the ones where there is shortage of resources and the cost of replacement is too high. So why did we choose? And the learning, right? A lot of people are learning in colleges and other stuff, and in universities and institutions. So if you look at what industries and where we are targeting, the targeted area is predominantly around the volume of people who are there in India. 60% of India's business runs on services, right? And then there is the next piece of business, which is around the US. US has the highest amount of what you call the advanced services industry, where you see the price waterhouses of the world and all of these large institutions have determinative knowledge which they want to really take and grow. So if you look at what we are trying to accomplish is those two, and certainly healthcare, which requires a lot of different people with like nursing knowledge and various areas who need to come through. So what we are trying to do is to focus initially, even though we have built a platform which is horizontal, which can grow across anybody, right? Our total available market is so large that we can just keep counting, right?
Wow.
But the problem is not the total available market. What is ours? Serviceable, operable market that we want to go after. The serviceable, operable market that we are going after right now initially is North America, Asia, India, and predominantly around quality cost of replacement services, where the jobs of replacement far exceeds 200, 300% of the cost of the first year's pay. So that's where we're focusing, and that's where we're trying to target first.
Yeah, in terms of AI, I always say, people say, well, AI is going to take out of the job for people. What I always say is that AI, what is going to happen is the people need to start to learn how to use AI, because if it doesn't, if they don't embrace the new technologies and learn how to use AI, it's not going to be a job for anybody because the company is going to collapse. So it's not that AI is taking the jobs, it's that all employees or everyone's in the business, if they don't start to learn and apply AI solution to the business, it's not going to be a job for anybody. The job is going to be because the company is going to, it's not going to be efficient anymore, and there is competition out there. So bottom line, if you want your business to succeed, if you want your business to grow, in the service business, you need to start to embrace and engage with solutions like this one, which will optimize. Now, the next question is this one, because I always said, okay, the mission, the purpose, everything amazing, okay? But from the investor point of view, we always say, okay, show me the money, yeah? Show me the money. I want to see the money, right? So, how much? We talked briefly, and you were describing Harry. Just imagine if we implement this software in a hospital or in this channel hospital, in the healthcare system in US is so expensive that you apply this in that way, we can save X amount of money. So give us some numbers, yeah, and show us the money to people that want also to get involved, investors, right? There are a lot of them are impact investors. They want to deploy the capital in something that actually can make the better healthcare. for everybody out there. But there are some investors that they also want to see how the returns are going to be on the project. Okay, and so tell us a little bit more. And I always there was one podcast guest that came here that told me, Harry, you know what, a tech multimillionaire. He was telling in this podcast, Harry, you know what? Everybody's building a unicorn. Don't build a unicorn, build the car. Build something that can go long distances with no water, that is in the sun, that it doesn't matter how much sun, that is a bulletproof, that is solid, okay? Right, and go and build that unicorn that everybody's like this shiny object, but sometimes something happens in the market and they cannot have to keep quickly and they get out of business. So tell us a little bit more like what show us the money, yeah, or give us some numbers. And are you building a camel or a unicorn?
Great question. So I'm going to break this into two parts, and I'm going to answer the first part with two parts. The
Okay.
first part I'm going to go after is show us the money. I'm going to do two things, right? One is about what's the value proposition from a show us the money to not just me or the investor. Let's talk about our end customers. What does it really save them, right? And if that is there, and if that is the market that the investor already has an existing set of investments in, super easy for us to deploy it for their existing customers and grow from out of it directly, right? So I'm going to go with the first. What's the value proposition from a dollars and cents standpoint? So from a value proposition standpoint, every person you fire and you rehire to a role is costing you as a business.
Oh, that's expensive. Tell me about it. Welcome to my life.
Yeah, 34% of your margins are gone, are wiped out.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do is to figure out a way to understand your people better so that we can repurpose them for a different job within the same organization as the jobs are changing for the future. So effectively, I'm going to give a chance for you to reduce your attrition by X% in certain industries. Good example is if I reduce the registered nurses turnover by 1% in the state of New York, I'm actually saving 1% reduction in registered nurses first year RNs, right? Is actually $1.1 million of savings. The cost to implement our product, the cost to implement our product for that same organization, even if they are 5,000 to 10,000 employees, is less than $250,000.
Wow.
So effectively, if they are able to reduce that number by 1%, and usually they get the return on investment for our product within the first month. Okay.
Wow.
That's the value proposition for healthcare. Take that same number for a BPO or a staffing company or for a tech consulting firm, right? That number is about $700,000 for 1% reduction. So if I can take that same number, they also get the value because of the volume being so high for the number of people applying for a job in the health, in the tech sector, or in the consulting sector. For them, it is absolutely imperative they start saving their money and they make good. We make good on our promise on their investment within the first 20 to 30 days.
Let me make a comment on this one because I've been asked to do talks about this topic. So I'm aware there's even in London, okay, about how the legacy of technology and the employees are evolving. And I'm aware, at least in London, because I was asked to do a speech about this, is that there are you will find out that big companies, petroleum companies, oil companies, big multinational, still they're using a very old software. I mean, you don't need to go too far; just go to the bank. Sometimes you go to a bank and you see a software like it's like from the 80s or from the 70s, right? And to move the legacy that now we have cloud computing and everything, there are two problems. There is a legacy in terms of equipment and scaling the solution now with the implementation of AI, but also there is a legacy of people that they don't want to learn new things. They're used to the old software, And that problem of legacy, it has some of the major corporations and major organizations, public in the public sector and also in the private sector, that everybody prefer to stay like this and don't touch anything and keep operating. But this elephant keep growing and growing and growing and growing. And if you don't take action, one day they're gonna find out that a little company like that is gonna take them out of business, and nobody will understand what happened. So tell us a little bit more about this.
Yeah, I'll happily talk a lot more about this for sure, right? So one of the things that you will see is they'll usually get out of business very quickly, or the cost of maintaining these large systems, old antiquated systems, is actually so high that it is draining your margins,
Yeah.
right? And number
So how
two
is this land your solution?
So what we do is we identify the skills and the capabilities of every person. Usually the resistance to change comes from people more than from the organization. So as long as you are able
Yeah,
to give
that
them,
I'm aware.
yeah, as long as you're able to give them a growth path to go into a new role of the future and tell them how they are going to do it, they are comfortable. Otherwise, you just come in and drop a new technology, they have no incentive to change.
They're not gonna engage.
Right?
Yeah,
Correct.
we
So
have to
that's what
enroll
we
them.
So what we do is we assess all their soft skills and find out every organization has only 22% of the people who are first movers, right? 60% of the people are going to be in the middle who will follow any direction. And there is 20% of the people who will never move, right? Point is find out that 20% who you don't want to work with and then figure out who you need to move with by understanding people better and then moving in that direction. Going back to the previous question you asked, right? Show me the money. This is the value proposition. Second piece of the value proposition you brought up was what is in it for the investor? Right now, the good news is I have $5 million in my pipeline already in the last 4 months that I've created. The bad news is I don't have a sales team.
That's very,
Thank you.
very impressive.
Yeah, it's a pipeline. I still have to convert. I need to put money to be able to get that. So the question that I'm bringing up to the investors is, do you want to get in early on this ride? It's super easy. Instead of trying to talk about, oh, I put X amount of $8 million or $10 million or whatever it is, what am I going to get? Certainly that's the right question. But how quickly can you get that is the other question, right? How quickly can you get to that number if you already have 20 or 50 customers who can just give me 200,000 paid people at $3 to $5 a month? That's the ask.
Wow.
If you get that kind of money, effectively, I am already giving you 2.5x your investment within the next 1.5 to 2 years.
Wow.
Right? That's the promise that I can give from Show Me the Money standpoint on how we have built this, right? So that I built a pipeline and I built how to actually execute to the pipeline. The other two-part question you asked was, am I building a unicorn or am I building a camel? Yeah,
How solid it is and how sticky is it?
exactly. So I don't believe in the word unicorn. I do not believe in the word unicorn. You can keep saying what is a unicorn. In the rate of change, unicorn used to be a big word in the last like 10, 20 years back, right? Because the rate of change was very short. Even if you build a unicorn of today, because the rate of change is so high in technology, somebody might be a unicorn for a much shorter time than actually what they used to be in the past. I don't believe there is going to be a company which is going to last like 30 years or 40 years very easily in the future, right? That's why I don't believe in the word unicorn, even though what we provide as a value is something which is unique. I won't call it unicorn, but I'll call it unique, right? The other piece of the business that we bring to the table, you asked whether we are building a camel or not. Absolutely. Because I am building a camel for two reasons. I am taking the most important aspect of life on earth, which is people, right? Take the people aspect of it and create a digital version of people. so that people can keep learning and knowing more about them and keep adapting to the future. So that's why we have not built it as an assessment engine. We have built it as a continual assessment platform. What that does is it will keep learning as you keep growing and start giving you the new changes of the future. So that's why if you had to pick a lane, I'm building a camel. I'm building a unique camel which can
Wow,
go
it's really
hard.
powerful. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that at the end of the day, I work along with tech companies, and they help them to grow. And every time that the guys look, you need to have like exactly like you have a pipeline, right, of potential clients coming to use and to engage in a subscription basis, which is one of the most powerful ways to uh, to create the valuation, a great valuation of the company, because it's not the same having one client. When it's better to see one client, they're a little bit concerned because this client is gone.
You
There is
got
no
it, right?
business. Where if you have a lot of subscription that paying $3, $5 a month, that's completely different ball game, and the business can escape. The valuation of the business is way high.
Yep.
And the tech entrepreneurs, I always telling them they're looking for funding. Guys, you need traction, you need pipeline, and they always telling me, no, Harry, you don't understand. Tech is different or traditional business. And the more I see tech, the more I see similarities, a lot of similarities with traditional business. Because if you don't build the bulletproof, recession-proof, COVID-proof, uh, solid, exactly like you described it, with multiple avenues and multiple stream of income and with flexibility. This is how you build a solid business that can actually resist the the solid the sun and the sun of all the uh, all the challenges that will come during that. Yeah, and at least when somebody say, "Oh, I will copy you," okay, there are two things. It's not gonna be that easy, because number one, they need the experience of you, and also if they're gonna copy you, they need to do completely off the other way, because you do have a patent and you do have the technology. So it's not gonna be that easy to copy. It's more uh, about market share and penetrating the market. The next question I would like to ask you is a lot of our listeners, they are entrepreneurs and investors, from venture capitalists to angel investors, from entrepreneurs, small business, medium-sized business, and large businesses. So, if someone is in love with this conversation and want to find out more, how people can find you, how this process works, can you describe uh, how they can access to you?
Absolutely, happy to, right? So thank you for bringing that up. Uh, what we have created is a link tree through which you can actually go in and quickly look at our pitch, right? You can look at our pitch deck, see where we are at, what we do, understand everything about it. There's a one pager as well, which will give you a synopsis of where we're really at, right? On the link tree. And then also in the link tree, there are a lot of videos which tells you how exactly the product works. What does it do? What kind of things do we really bring? Everything that we discussed so far are available as videos as well on that same link tree. Also on the link tree, if you're a small business, you can just click on that link tree and you want to just see, is this real? Can I use it? We have a
Wow.
trial version for you to be able to go in, click on it and get yourself signed up and see how it works. We can actually help you get through that process. So I think you brought up a very important point, which I don't want to leave in the previous speech for this question. Building multiple revenue streams is super important, right? One of the ways by which we will be super profitable, the reason why is because our cost of our margins will just blow through the roof, is because we are creating a way by which it is possible for us to reduce the cost of client acquisition to as little as zero, right?
Wow.
The reason why we are able to do that is that's why even at a $3 and a $5 per month or $3 a month, right? kind of a thing, we make a gross margin of about 85 to 90%.
Wow,
Right?
that's
So
amazing, spectacular.
our ability to do that is because I invested all my winnings. I'll tell you the three circles, the concentric circles. I believe in it. I have put my own money
I
on
can
it.
tell.
I want it to work.
I can tell you're very passionate about it.
Right. The second piece of it is I will give anybody in the second concentric circle who want to be part of this journey a quick return because I have already built, and I'm not asking you for the cost of building the product. I have built the product.
Hey, don't, and it works.
And it works. And I
So
am confident you tried yourself, right?
yeah.
The
So
third
it's
piece of
more.
it.
It's more than a minimum viable product. It's a.
Oh
It's a,
no,
it's a
it's a
solid
working product. It's not a
working
prototype.
product. It's not an MVP,
Yeah.
huh? It's a
No, it
working
is
product.
enterprise ready working product.
Oh
Which
wow.
is being used by everybody. And because it's all built on the cloud and it scales and it's super elastic, depending on whether you're a 10 people organization or a 100,000 people organization.
Yeah. So then this link tree, the people where they can find you, www.mayamaya.com, or can you tell us because there are some people.
www.mayamaya.ai.
Ah,
Yeah, I can share that link with you. And I
yes.
believe
But
I do.
tell us because some people might be listening in the gym or in the car. So
Uh-huh.
so www dot
Yeah, it is Linktree. Go to linktree.com and it is called linktr.ee and go to where it says Catenate, at Catenate, at
where
Catenate. If you search for that on Linktree, you will get our link. And as soon as you get the link, I will also send that link over. And if you can just make that as a connection, they can look at this and look at our organization.
and
Find out where
in the website MayaMaya.ai, what can they
AI.
find?
Yeah,
What
MayaMaya.ai.
what can they
www.
find there?
What can they find there? They can actually go in and get started for a trial right off the bat, off of our get started button. You can just sign up for yourself as an individual, or you can sign up for the entire organization, invite people as well as a trial. And then after that, it gets converted into monthly usage. For a small organization up to 200 people, it costs no more than like $1,500 a month for you to
Wow.
be able to have the same capabilities as a large, powerful enterprise is going to have to spend.
Okay. And then the last question. What are I think that the all the use of technology will make a massive progress in terms of healthcare, which is something that is costing at the moment a lot of money to the government, not only in United States or India, but all over the world. And the process that you guys are following is make sure that this is a tool for humans, but also that challenge that these human compounds, they are blocking or they are resisting the change of technology, right? This is something that you're working very closely to make sure that there is when 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 the use software of AI comes to the organization, that there is an easy way or process that the team members adopt and start to use it, right? And I think that the analogy that we use here, if they don't start to use it, that's my opinion. Any solution with AI related with the job right now, eventually the job is gonna
It
disappear.
is not a theory anymore. I think you said it right.
Absolutely.
Not a theory anymore. It's real. It's here, right? The question is, are we going to be able to face it? We have just been put into the middle of the ocean, right? And you're asked to swim or sink.
Absolutely. If you are
Correct?
in the job
So
market, if you are an employee and you know using any form of AI right now in your position, right? It because maybe it hasn't been created, but as soon as it's created, you embrace it.
Yeah.
or either you learn it or won't be no job anymore. This is what I really think. And I believe.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, right? So given that when you're asked to swim or sink, the question is, oh, how do I swim? I don't know what to swim, right? I don't know how to get through this problem, right? Even if you want to swim, you don't know how to get it. That's where we come in.
Okay.
We will help you swim in the right direction so that you can get ashore to where you think is right for you, right? That's what we are trying to get you to, not saying that we will solve all your problems. We're just saying, based on what we think you are, we will give you a guided, personalized path to get ashore, independent of whether you're a student or if you're an existing employee.
Thank you so much. That's been fantastic. And once again, thank you so much for joining the podcast. I really appreciate it. And I think you do have a wonderful program. Okay. And
Appreciate it.
and we'll the more the AI engines evolve and all that, it's gonna come. It's coming on the way. These products that actually they are like boutique products. Okay, they are products that will be specialized in sectors. Well, for example, the data needs a little different way of storage and a different way of systematization, right? And then this kind of product have a huge future, especially like I said, and in terms of the valuation, I'm going to really quickly because I'm aware that tech businesses with large number of subscriptions, in terms of valuation, is a very attractive position for all angel investors and investors out there. So congratulations, what you have done. It's not an MVP, it's not a minimum viable product, it's actually a working product ready to be deployed. And we're looking forward to see you progress in this business.
Appreciate
And
that. Thank you for having me, Harry. Like I said, the link is https:// link linktr.ee/catenate C uppercase ATENATE. That's the link. Take a look at us. Happy to help you in any which way and fashion.
Thank you so much. And for all of you following the podcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like Vishwa break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.